On cam. Whoops. Classic, honestly. Hold up, live improvisation. Boom! Welcome back to Kotohogushi, by the way. Last time we met Riku, and Hanyuu killed a bear naked. That's basically all that happened. Let's just get right into it this time. No intro this time. He lived. We did kind of bop him. I dragged the young man out of the waterfall basin, laid him on the rocky banks of the marsh, and slapped his cheeks. But his eyes didn't open, and all I got in return was a truly pathetic groan. True. Ruin ought taught directly to my brain via the crystal on my sheath. For a moment I could have sworn I heard a hint of exasperation in her voice, and it probably wasn't my imagination. 1,000 times. It's higher than I thought that would be. Light pat. I put my clothes back on while feeling discouraged. Thanks to that, I again remembered how I'd been naked until just a moment ago, sending a flash of shame through me. Oh. Just leave him be. Honestly, just lay him there, or maybe like keep a little watch from a distance away, and who knows, maybe he'll think it's just a dream. True. Based on truth. Yeah. I clicked my tongue at her roundabout way of putting it, but since Rue and Ott couldn't defy me, it was only natural for her to speak that way. Though I didn't feel like forcing her to do something she advised against either. However, ever since they came to this land, the Ryuin made a self-imposed oath not to engage in unnecessary killing. It was a reprimand to keep us, with our overwhelmingly superior strength compared to humans, from becoming arrogant and haughty, like Satoko. Of course, you could express yourself by using that power. However, it was painful to see the violence and folly that lay at the end of that path. Not to mention, if you let that pass, we'd be making the same mistake as the Griffies, who committed crimes and were executed by us. It's true that my dignity took a serious blow when this human saw me naked, but in my head I understood that I'd be slighting my pride if I made the foolish choice here. In my head, anyway. I suddenly felt a slight pain in my foot and looked down. The top of my foot had been pierced by a broken tree branch and was bleeding. I hit the ground rather hard when I was rolling down the slope with that bear, but I completely forgot I was barefoot. Come to think of it, I felt some prickling pain over my skin. Must be the scrapes from that fall. It's kind of interesting because I'm guessing they're being like hyperbolic by saying she's 1,000 times stronger than normal human, because she seems like she's probably more durable, but it seems like she's pretty still like susceptible to like injuries like a human. Obviously, like if you got pierced through the foot with a tree branch and probably couldn't watch, so obviously she has some endurance, but still. Fortunately, none of them were serious, but since it's been a long time since something originating from this world had hurt me, I felt a slight surprise and a fresh feeling.
どうしました？ああ、ちょっとヘマをやってな。傷を負ってしまったようだ。わかりました。すぐに薬の準備を。ああ、大したことはない。この程度なら手持ちの公約でなんとかなるだろう。
Figuring I'd stop the bleeding for now, I sunk my foot in the watering hole and wiped off the filth. I felt a slight sting from the cold water, but it quickly ebbed away. I found myself at a loss after remembering something a bit problematic. A wound like this itself wasn't a problem at all, but I couldn't change into my astral body when I had external injuries. Transformation from a solid body to an astral body was made possible by loosening the bonds of the high-order molecules that comprise our bodies. However, an injury disrupts the structure of that body, leaving you unable to transform it back into a solid body, or so Ryu and Ak said. Meaning that at this rate, I wouldn't be able to shift my invisible astral body and return to Onidofuchi. Onidofuchi? I guess she's talking about the lake, which helps them beam up to whatever. To the other world, universe thing.
いや、いい。今は戦闘時でもないしな。とりあえず夜が更けるまで待つとしよう。
After turning down Ryun Ott's proposal, I looked up and watched the sky turn red. In this season, it probably wouldn't take much time for night to come. Just then, I turned around when I heard a groan clearer than the last coming from behind me. I saw the young man grab his head, grimace, and get up. The young man noticed my presence and turned to me after hearing my voice. I haughtily looked down on him with a blank expression, trying to hide my shame at having been seen naked. And finally, the young man's eyes widened in surprise when he took a good look at my face. Realizing what that reaction signified, I gave a faint, bitter smile. Oh, maybe it's time to use this. Last time we didn't get to use it because we got nude Hanyuu. Those two horns, a physical trait of the Ryuin clan and the Putus. They're just something we're born with, so we don't particularly take pride in them, but humans tend to detest those with horns on their head. They've always feared me and called me all sorts of names, such as demon, devil, monster. It doesn't feel good, but I'm used to this reaction by now. And now that he's seen my horns, the young man probably understood he was face to face with a demon. I could have played the part, but I didn't want to be considered a demon after saving his life, so instead I urged him in a dignified tone. Damn. God roleplaying. I heard the young man gulp slightly. As expected, it seems to have had quite an effect on him. Between the power I used to slaughter the bear, and him being a firm believer of Oyasho-sama's faith.
もしも村の誰かにこのことを打ち明ければ、お前と家族の身にそれ相応の最悪が下されるであろう。お前がやるべきことは、すべてを忘れて住処に帰り、私と出会う前の記憶のまま明日を迎えること。良いか。
I always left those words behind when someone was unfortunate enough to spot me. There's actually no downside to them seeing me. The most that would happen would be dwelling bursting with people who'd heard the rumors and confirm them for themselves. However, rumors of a demon sighting would also lead to unnecessary fear from the residents of the settlement. So I would take advantage of the villagers' fear of demons to silence them like this. However, the look on the young man's face struck me as odd. His face was frozen and expressionless, but I sensed no fear in it. In fact, he was actually blushing while his gaze swam in bewilderment.
とりあえず誓え。ここでの出来事はすぐに忘れるか、死ぬまでお前の胸の中にしまい続けるか。さすれば命までは取ろうとは思わぬ。
はい、誓います。
Yeah, okay. True redo. I could tell whether he was lying or not by the look in his eyes. At the very least, it seemed I could trust him.
ならば用は済んだ。さっさと立ち去るがいい。
はい、このフルで陸、天地
There
神
it
明に
is.
誓います。あれほどに美しいもの、むやみやたらに人に語ってよいものではありません。
Still shooting his shot.
というか、もったいなくて絶対に語りたくありません。故に永遠に忘れることなく、死ぬまで私の記憶の中に留め置きましょう。
Oh. Hey, it's the meme song. Didn't think we'd hear that again, honestly. Classic. I fell flat on my face just as I was turning to leave. At the same time, the dignified master I'd been mustering all my effort to maintain fell apart, and I grabbed the young man by the lapels and dragged him close while my face flushed scarlet.
いいか人間。あのことは忘れよう。今すぐにきれいさっぱり。良いな。
いや、それは無理です。見たのは事実でしたから。
True. And based.
無理でも事実でも何でも忘れろ。さもなければ貴様は家族ともどもたたりに苛まれようぞ。
たたりは困りますが、すいません、やっぱりダメです。目を閉じるとまぶたの裏側にくっきりと焼き付いて離れて
Oh my god.
ふざけるな。だったらその目をえぐり取るぞ。ああ、ジェダ、いけません。
Damn. Ruin Ott clearly asked me to stop this time, with a rare panic in her tone. Her voice brought me back to my senses, and I retracted the claws I was about to threaten him with.
何をやっているのだ。
It's the clown music, dude. It gets everyone riled up. Even I was surprised by that uncharacteristic reaction of mine. It's true I was embarrassed that he'd seen me naked. Bum 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 bum. Ba 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 ba. Even so, as far as I could remember, I never gotten this emotional with someone before, much less a human. No, what struck out more was the odd sense of incongruency. Suspicious, I studied the young man's face. He was sweaty from panic and embarrassment, yet his eyes held no fear. It wasn't the sort of composure that came from a difference in strength or experience. No, it was something gentler and more open-minded than that.
お前怖くないのか。
はい。
見えているのだろう。この角が。
ああ、そういえば。
Now that you mention it, I do.
そういえばって。
He's a true Hinamizawan. And then, like last time we talked about, how everyone was just kind of chill with Hanyuu's horns. It went right past the rage and straight into astonishment. Normally, one's eyes would be drawn right to them, but his weren't.
ならば、今一度聞く。貴様、この角を見ても恐れを感じぬか。
なぜですか？
なぜって、だからその。
I mean, I'd probably be scared if I saw someone with horns, like real horns. His response was so unexpected that I was the one left speechless instead. No way. This was the first time I'd ever been asked why they'd be considered threatening.
貴様も見ていたな。私は貴様が恐れるクマすら一撃でほふる力を持つものだ。その気になれば、貴様の命をここでたやすく奪うこともできるのだぞ。
あ、そうか。
Oh.
そうかじゃないだろう。
あ、いえ、すいません。先ほど見た光景があまりにも短美でありましたので、そのようなことをすっかり忘れておりました。
It was so beautiful to see a naked horned woman kill a bear. True.
笑うな。つか、それはさっさと忘れると言ったであろう。
いや、だからそれは無理だと。
忘れぬのならば、その命をもらい受けるぞ。
Jesus.
わかりました。人生の最後にあのような
Okay, dude.
いけるのであれば。
This guy's going crazy. Feel like this is hit after hit after hit. Has to be working.
もう一度しっかりとこの目で。
見せるか。
Damn. I raised my voice and shouted. As the bewilderment, I felt I grew bitter and bitter. And for some reason, my face had been feeling abnormally warm for a while now. My heart was beating to the point of suffocation for seemingly no reason at all, and my words were occasionally slurred.
なんなんだ、こいつは。
He was far too shameless, or rather his uninhibited attitude could even be seen as bold in a sense. Humans had occasionally seen me up until now, but all of them were scared, shivered, and simply brought their heads to the ground, begging desperately for their lives to be spared. Of course, I didn't see this young man as any kind of threat. If we fought right here now, I'd have his head from his shoulders in a single blow. No doubt about it. So why wasn't he scared of me?
貴様、何者だ。
あ、自己紹介をしておりませんでした。私はフルデリク。この村の神社にて祭事を取り仕切る宮司の息子です。
フルデ神社。
Obviously, he was adopted into the position. Because it's only been 20 years, right? Can't be like the father, can't be like the kitty she saved. The words brought back memories, along with a bit of understanding. If I remember right, there was a small shrine in the mountains that the villagers evacuated to 20 years ago. It was then the chief priest hailed me as Oyashiro-sama, in other words, the god who descended upon the village and slayed the demons, which meant he had been born into the family of my retainers. And thus, perhaps he had some composure when it came to the awe of Oyashiro-sama. But it still felt strange. This Riku Furude had screamed when confronted by that bear, which meant he knew what fear was. Then why wasn't he afraid of me, the one who slaughtered that beast? Where did his composure come from?
あまりとぼけていると本気で殺すぞ。私にはそれができる力があるのだからな。
ええ、分かっています。でもどうしてかな。そうならないと勝手に安心しきって本気であなたを怖いとは思えないのです。
貴様の考えなど聞いておらん。大体。それに命の恩人のあなたが
True, okay, there we go, confirmation. Even though we already kinda knew.
そう考えるのは変でしょうか。
I just didn't get it. It made no sense. There's no liar. Oh, shit, never mind. I guess that could be a double meaning. I just realized it's probably talking about the bear thing, but maybe it's like a double thing where also, you know, she saved him as a kid. He clearly believed what he said to me from the bottom of his heart. Did he trust a total stranger like me so much because he was soft, or was he just an idiot?
それで。あなたのお名前は何と申しますか？
あのな。
I clung to my head. His seemingly bottomless insolence was giving me a headache. Humans had asked me questions for decades, no, perhaps even centuries, but never had one asked me for my name before. But more importantly, why would he even think of doing that now? How the hell was this guy's brain wired?
ひょっとして
なんだ。
お名前がないのですか？でしたら
Hanyuu?
バカにするな。
Then I loudly cleared my throat and stated my name.
私はハイリュウン、エアストムール・ジェダ。
Yesamul
この
Jeddah.
地にてジェダを担う者。
I felt somewhat embarrassed. This was the first time I had formally named myself to anyone, including fellow Putus. After all, since I was born to this world, I was surrounded by people who knew me. So there is no need to name myself, nor for anyone to call my name. Pretty much the only times I said it were when chanting the formal prayer while executing griffies.
どうした？
いえ、すいません。よく聞き取れなかったので、もう一度お願いできますか？
はあ？
Honestly, I was irritated, but when I considered he might have had trouble hearing it due to my slightly awkward enunciation, I said it again.
わかったか？
はいにゅー。
Oh my god, we just got the lore? The lore? The Hanyuu lore?
いえ、
Hanyuu.
イエッサーホイッサーってのは掛け声ですか？
己の耳は
Just as I was getting pissed and started to yell, it finally hit me. I remember hearing somewhere before that my name was difficult for the humans of this world to make out. In other words, they can't pronounce or hear it right because it's hard to convert into their language.
何のために名乗ったのだ私は。
I felt like tearing my compare at the buffoonery I was being subjected to. And yet, it was strange. Even though this tone-deaf conversation had been pissing me off to no end, I didn't feel like leaving. And what was this indescribable throbbing in my chest? Though I grimaced at how annoying it was, I repeated my name several times after that at the young man's request. But as I feared, I turned at the pronunciation across to him, just as I was finally getting tired of it and was about to leave.
あ、そうだ。それなら私があなたの呼びやすい名前をつけてあげましょうか。
はあ？何を言い出すんだお前は。
Your name's too hard. Let me just give you a new one. Stranger I met a bit ago. I met earlier today.
実はちょっとした自慢なのですが、私が名付けた相手は長生きすると村の人たちの間ではなかなかの評判なのです。この前も与兵さんの家で生まれたばかりの子牛に名を送ってあげましたので。
家畜と一緒にするな。
Damn. Owned. He really was making fun of me, wasn't he? And what nerve he had dared to even think of naming a god. I couldn't tell if he was courageous or idiotic. Either way, giving him a straight answer would only make me tired.
もうよい。私には関係のないことゆえ、お前が聞こえたままに好きに呼ぶがいい。ちなみに、私の名はこの地で言うところの鳥の翼や
Feathers of the bird wings.
そうですか。では、
おい、そこまで悩むな。そもそもだな、私は仮にもこの地の神であって、気安く呼びかけるものでは。
あ、そうだ。
Oh.
いいなを思いつきました。
人の話を聞け。
Damn. But Riku picked up a stick as though he hadn't heard me and drew a line in the ground. It was infuriating to be ignored, but I figured I could at least watch, so I looked down. What Riku wrote were characters of his language. How do you read this combination?
なんだこれは。
はい。最初の方はそれなりに聞き取れましたので。それとあなたの名前の羽が入っているという言葉の意味になって掛け言葉としてHanyuuと読みます。
There we go, boys. Hanyuu lore complete.
ですからこれからあなたのことをHanyuuと呼んでもよろしいでしょうか。
はにゅ。
That was likely how Higurashi had sounded to him. Hanyuu. My already throbbing heart pounded even harder at the sound of that unfamiliar and far too fresh name. Jedha is my family name as an observer. Yeah, Samuel is a hereditary title based off the land I lived in. So this is truly the first time I'd been given my own name. Okay, that's interesting. I thought, yeah, Samuel was actually like a given name, but apparently it was just a title sort of thing again. So, real name, finally. Oh my god, our title changed to Hanyuu. Easy. Seriously, what the hell am I thinking? What am I getting so giddy about?
どうでしょうか。気に入ってくれると私も嬉しいのですが。
気に入るも何も。そもそもお前は今後私のことを忘れて村に。
あれ？あ、
Riku's face warped in shock when he suddenly noticed my foot standing right next to the characters written on the ground.
あなた、怪我をしているではありませんか。大丈夫ですか。
I looked down to find the top of my foot oozing blood again. I'd been planning to put ointment on it after I washed it, but I'd completely forgotten about that up until now.
これくらい大したことはない。薬を塗ればすぐに。
あ、待っていてください。これを。
Riku took out what appeared to be medicinal plants and a towel from his basket, lying on the ground. He then ground the medicinal plants on a nearby rock until they turned to paste, put it on my foot, and then wrapped the towel around the wound.
何を。
とりあえず応急措置ですが、この薬草は血止めに効きますので、少しはマシだと思います。
本当に人の話を聞かんやつだな、お前は。
I stared blankly at the towel wrapped around my foot as I let out my umpteenth sigh of the day. Huh? Come to think of it, could these medicinal plants be...
この薬草、そこの斜面で取ってきたものではないのか。
え？あ、はい、よくご存知ですね。血止めと消毒によく効くのですが、うっかり行商人から買い置くのを忘れておりまして。
それを取っていて、命の危機にさらされたというわけ
pretty
か。
ballsy.
薬を探して死んだとあっては、むしろ大いなる皮肉だな。
Would be kind of funny, honestly. Riku scratched his head and laughed bashfully. Though the sun was setting, his face was so clearly reflected to me that it was dazzling.
そうだ。すいません。申し上げるのが遅くなりました。助けてくれてありがとうございます。あなたのおかげで命拾いしました。
My eyes fell to my feet when he politely told me that. The wound on my right foot that Riku had tended to. For some reason, it was so warm that I completely forgot the pain I'd felt earlier, and the efficiency of the medicine no longer mattered to me.
それで羽生？羽生？
When he called out again, I remembered he was using his own name for me. Still, I'm a god to them, right? So why is he talking to me as if I'm an old friend of his?
よろしければしっかりと治療を行いたいので、私の
Damn.
神社まで来ていただけませんか？
Already inviting her home, huh?
ここからでもそれほどに距離はありませんし、ぜひ。
遠慮しておこう。
なぜです？
私の姿を見れば、村人に無用の不安を与えるではないか。
大丈夫ですよ。実は私、村に降りることなく山沿いに神社へと向かう道を知っているのです。
That's the Satoto path? Pre-Satoto trap era?
ですか
Back
ら
when it was peaceful?
私についてきてくだされば問題ありません。
The right thing to do would have been to ignore him and leave. No, normally I would have unquestioningly turned down his ridiculous, exasperating, and blunt response. But it was strange. Rather than curiosity, I felt a desire to talk more with this man than keep him from leaving, no matter how hard I thought otherwise. I reflexively nodded.
わかった。任せよう。
ありがとうございます。それから、
まだ何かあるのか？
できればこの上の斜面に登るのを手伝ってもらえましたら。実は私、岩登りが非常に苦手でして。
I swear, just how ignorant was this man? Ooh, break. Okay, I was ready to go longer, but we'll try to follow the breaks to keep this clean. And there we have it, how Hanyuu got her name. And we learned a bit more about Riku. He seems pretty base though. We'll take that. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and next time we will see how ancient Furude Shrine is and what's up, what's happening there. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.